Hello, I'm Alicia and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to show you how to make this really cute little mini basket. This is the perfect beginner level basket if you're new to basket weaving, or maybe you've done it before and you had a tough time doing it. This is a great little basket to start with. And then know that once you have the skills and the feel down, you can make much bigger baskets using the same method that I'll teach you today. So we'll go through materials that you can use, and I'll go through the process of making this basket. But before we move on to the tutorial, I want to let you know about my website, aliciathecrafter.com, where I have all of my courses and online tutorials all in one place. So if you really like basket weaving, I invite you to try my Baskets Made Simple course, where it does go through today's basket, but also there's other sections that have more advanced techniques. So you'll learn like how to make this cute little knot. You'll learn how to add handles for a really cool functional basket. You'll learn how to add a loop and also how to curve a basket. This is one of my favorites. You'll learn how to put on fringe. I also have a little tutorial on making a tiny basket. There's also fabric baskets. This is one of my favorite little baskets to have on my coffee table. This basket I really love too because of the spiral that I created, and I show you how to do that too. And finally, you can even learn how to make a placemat with the skills in the bonus section and the whole crafting course in general. So check that out. I also have other things that I'm working on that are really fun crafts that you and your family will enjoy. Okay, so let's get started with materials that you'll need. The first thing you'll want to grab is some type of filler cord. So I use cotton filler cord. Usually all of my baskets are in size 3/8 inch, but you can also use braided cord or rope. I choose cotton because as I make bigger baskets, this is really lightweight, and I like that so that it's not so heavy when I'm making my baskets. But also I like it because it's really flexible. So as I'm adding the knots and the loops, I really like how easy it is to twist and turn. But like I said, you can use anything, anything that's round that you can wrap around. I like to use, for wrapping around the cord, I like to use Single Twisted Macrame cord. I like the twisted because it relaxes really well and it hides the piping cord, but not everyone likes how it untwists and unravels. That's a personal preference. You can do whatever works for you, but I really like using this one, and I especially like it because I do a lot of fringe, and so this works really good for fringe. Another option is t-shirt yarn. So this is really beginner friendly, really user friendly, and really kid friendly. It wraps around the cord really well. So I also recommend this one. You can use regular yarn too, but I kind of like this one a little bit more. You can also use any other type of macrame cord, like a braided cord or the twisted rope. Those work. They're not my favorites, but they do also work, and a lot of people like to use those. And then also you can get really creative, and you can use fabric or art yarns, jute, twine, really anything. The sky is the limit. So really have fun with that. Use whatever you have at home first, and then if you really like it, then maybe start expanding and bringing in some different materials. Other than that, you will need a yarn needle or a tapestry needle, as it's referred to. I like to use size 2.75 inches because I think that it grabs the yarn a little bit easier, but you can also use a bigger one. I think the bigger size is 3.5 inches. That works as well. And then you'll need a pair of good sharp crafting scissors. And then if you have a ruler, that's helpful, but it's not totally necessary. You can estimate everything that we're doing today. I will link all of the materials in the description. Okay, let's get started. To begin, the first thing you'll want to do is get your space set up. So I am right-handed dominant. This video is going to show you how to make a basket if you're right-handed dominant. In my online course, I do show how to make the basket if you're left-handed dominant, which is easier. If you are left, you'll kind of want to watch that video. But for now, you can still start out as I do and then flip the basket upside down after we get the beginning part done. And then you'll be able to use your left hand while I use my right hand. Okay, so for the filler cord, for this size basket, I'm going to use about 2.5 yards. And then for my string, I've cut off about 3 yards of string, which is about how much I like to work with at a time. You'll always want to have your string on your dominant side of your body and your filler cord on your non-dominant side. And that will keep them from tangling. So to begin, we're just going to cut the filler cord at an angle. Then we'll take a needle and thread one end of our string and set that down. I recommend running your fingers through the string before you get started just to loosen up any of the kinking or knotting in it. Then we'll take the non-needle side of our string and we'll place that right on top of our filler cord just so that it dangles down the front. And I'll pinch both of those together. And with my dominant hand, my right hand, I'm going to start wrapping around the cord going in this direction first. So that looks like this. I'll go up the back, over the top, down the front. Up the back, over the top, down the front. And I'm going to stop when I get to about 3/4 of an inch from the end. Now I'm going to make a loop and pinching both of those sides together. Now we're going to start wrapping this way. So I'm going to go now in a different direction of coiling. Now I'm going to go up the front, over the top, down the back. Up the front, over the top, down the back. Okay, now we're going to start curling this around to make the base of our basket. So I'm going to curl mine on the left side. And now we're going to start to secure it together. So take your needle, bring that through the center from the back to the front, pull it out, and pull the rest of the string with it. Okay, now that is called a stitch. Now we're going to continue coiling. So I have one stitch here, then I have 3 coils, and now I'm going to do another stitch. And I'm going to just keep repeating that pattern. So a couple things that you'll want to make note of as you're making your basket is that you'll always want to feel your work on the back side as well as turn it over, just to make sure that you are pulling your string all the way through and that you don't have extra bumps or knots on the back. If you do, you can simply unwrap and pull it through and then continue on. Okay, so you can see what I've done here is I accidentally poked through the string, and so now I have this extra strand. That is okay if that happens. I'm just going to cut it right off. And we can continue on. Okay, so I have now finished this row. And now I'm going to start on my 3rd row. So here's what you need to know at this point is that this first loop that we made, that is considered row 1. Then remember we had that extension. That is the start of row 2. And so now I've finished row 2. You will always be able to tell what row you are on just by starting with this extension that comes out of row 1. So you can see in this basket, let's see here. Here is row 1. Here is the extension that comes out. And so the way to count is to just find that extension and count outwards. So I always like to point it towards where my filler cord is coming out of. So for me, that's out the left side, because then I know I've completed a full row when I come back to it. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on the back, that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how you'll be able to count your rows. So you can see now I've got 1, 2, and I'm starting on row 3. And now that I'm on row 3, my stitches are no longer going to come from the middle. Now they're going to come from the valley that is in between row 1 and 2. So your stitches will always come from the nearest valley. So that would be the next valley over. Okay. So hopefully you can see by now what I mean by that. And so you're just going to want to keep going around and around, always pulling from the nearest valley. At some point here, you are going to need to change string. So when we get to that point, I will show you how to do that. But for now, one more thing before we move on is that to create a nice flat bottom to your basket, I recommend pressing it into a hard surface as you build your basket outwards. That will really help keep that bottom flat, so it will lay nice and flat. Because otherwise, chances are, as you're creating the base of your basket, you may be twisting and bending it as you're working it. So that really helps to keep it nice and flat. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to keep working on mine. And when I get to the point of needing to add in more string, I'm going to restart the video and show you how I do that. Okay, I am ready to change string. You can also do this if you're wanting to change color at any point. The process is the same. So I've already cut off a few yards of new string from my roll, and you'll want to have about 12 inches left of your old string still available to work with. Any less than that and it gets a little bit trickier. So you'll take one end of your new fresh cut string and just place that right on top of your filler cord and continue to coil and stitch as normal for, I would say, at least three coils and stitch it, or 3 coils. There's really no rule here, but that's typically about what I do, 3 to 6. Then take your needle off and place it on the other end of your new fresh cut string. And go ahead and set that down. Okay, so I did about 5 coils there. So what we'll do then is we'll just pick up that new string from the cord and lay down the old string in its place. And then we'll just switch them. And so now I'm working with the new string and I am coiling over the old string. And that just tucks them both in place. And I'll do that for another 3 to 6 coils. And you can either continue coiling around that old string or you can cut it off. I guess it depends on how much you have there. And if you want to just get rid of it, or if it doesn't bother you, just coil over it. Okay. So I'm going to keep working on the base of my basket. And for this particular basket, I'm going for a base of 5 rows. So that will make this little mini size, which is perfect for a nightstand or for keys by the door. It's just a cute little size. Actually, my kids really like this size for carrying all of their little treasures and trinkets in. So I'm going to go for a base of 5 rows, and when I get to the end of my 5th row, I'm going to restart the video and then show you how to make the side of the basket. Okay, I have completed my base rows. So just to give you another visual and a refresher on counting your rows, I have my row 1 here. My extension that starts row 2 is here. So I'm just going to count outwards towards my filler cord that's out to my left. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm starting on my 6th row. So this is the row that I'm going to start working upwards. And to do that, all we'll do is place our filler cord right on top of the last row that we just did, so row 5. I'm going to place it right on top of there, and I'm going to continue coiling and stitching while I hold it up there, which is going to feel a little awkward for the first row, just until we build up that first row. It'll feel odd, and then after that it'll be smooth sailing again. So you'll want to slow down with this particular row and make sure that you are doing a good job holding that in place. And as you're doing your stitches, make sure that you keep it in a good spot so that as you secure it, that you have kind of a nice straight side. So if you were not holding it very well, you may find that it will come off of the basket in some places. It may kind of fold outwards or inwards. But for this basket, we really just want the side to be straight. And so all of your rows should just go right on top of each other. And so just slow down a little bit and make sure that you're doing a good job with this part. And you'll be much more pleased and happy with the final result if you do. All of the stitches are still going to go in the nearest valley, but now you have probably noticed that the valley, instead of being on the side, is going to be directly below. Okay. So I think you get the idea now. So you'll just keep going around and around, placing your filler cord right on top as you build up the side. And for this particular basket, this little mini basket, we're going to do a side of 4 rows. So the basket in total is actually going to be 8 rows because this one in a way is counted twice. So if we have 5 on the bottom, here's row 5 right here, 6, 7, 8. So it's a total of 8 rows with 5 on the bottom and 4 on the side. Go ahead and continue that and then restart the video when you're ready to learn how to finish the basket, which is what I've done right here. All right, I have completed my basket, and if you've made it this far, then I hope you have too, and that you are proud of what you've made so far. So let's finish this off. We'll cut the cord off, and we will cut the string off and be done. So again, my extension that comes out of row 2 is coming right up here. And so that means that this final row is right here, and I'm going to cut that off right there. So it's all in line, and that will make for a nice even basket. So we'll do kind of the same way we started, where we're going to cut this cord off at an angle. And we're going to cut it off so that the longest part is at the bottom. So that will look like that. Okay. And now I'm going to finish all of my coils as stitches. So everything's going to be pulled through from this valley. And I'm going to omit all of the coils and just finish with stitches. So with this part, you're going to want to pay attention to your tension and pulling. If you're pulling too tight, you're going to create some kind of funny divots in this part. So really keep an even tension. And the goal is to obviously make this look very seamless, but I will tell you that that is really hard to do. And so expect there to be a few lumps and bumps, and that is just fine. But we'll try to make it as seamless as we can. And so I kind of tend to do a lot of adjusting for this part just to make it as smooth as possible. The color that I used today is called Mint Shake. And I love this series because it is made up of different colors to create this one strand. And I just think it's so pretty. It comes in a few different colors as well, some neutrals and some other brighter colors. It is a limited edition, so hopefully it's still available when you're watching this, but if not, there'll probably be some other great colors to choose from. Okay, so I have completely wrapped around that end of that filler cord, but I am going to keep wrapping around just a little bit longer because I find that that helps this look seamless and smooth if I just kind of keep going just a little bit farther. Okay. Let's see, should I do one more or leave it? I'm going to do one more. Okay. Okay. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. So that looks pretty good. I would say that that is one of my better ones. This was the one that I did on this. It's a little bit more lumpy and bumpy. But again, they're both fine. Okay, so to end, you can either tie a knot, so you can work your way to the next nearest stitch and tie a knot right in there, which I have done on other videos. I do show that in different places, but today I'm going to show you how to just thread it back through. So we'll do that today. If you want to know more information on tying that knot, then check out some of my other videos where I do show it. So I'm going to just thread my needle back through. I like to go back 2 or 3 coils. And this part is not totally easy. You want to be gentle so that you're not wrecking your basket. And after you've pulled that through, then just reshape your basket back to how it was. Then we'll cut this string off. Perfect. All right, I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you've tried basket weaving before, if you've enjoyed this video, other things that you've made from this style of weaving. I'd love to hear about it. If you want more tutorials and more basket inspiration from me, again, just head to my website, aliciathecrafter.com, and I will see you there.